first flag of the Confederacy was the Bonnie Blue flag, which was used by Confederate forces in early actions, including the shelling of Fort Sumter, prior to the adoption of an official national flag. The first official national flag of the Confederate States of America was the Stars and Bars. The flag was adopted in 1861 and included 13 stars. This was because it was assumed that Missouri and Kentucky would secede and join the already 11 states of the Confederacy. The second national flag of the Confederacy was known as the Stainless Banner, which was adopted in 1863. It featured a white field with the Confederate battle flag in the upper left-hand corner. The final national flag of the Confederacy, adopted in 1865, was called the Blood-Stained Banner, due to the fact that the Stainless Banner was mistaken for a white surrender flag at times. A red stripe was added to the right side of the flag. The Confederate flag that most people think of today was used in battle, but was never the official symbol of the Confederacy. This association was made after the war with white supremacist groups such as the White League and the Ku Klux Klan. These groups would die out in the 1880s, but were revitalized after the release of the controversial film The Birth of a Nation in 1915, which portrayed the Ku Klux Klan in a positive light. Tensions continued to build in America leading up to the 1950s and 60s. America would then enter into the Civil Rights Movement, which sought to end the fight which had begun 100 years earlier.
There's something happening here, but what it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware. I think it's time we stop, children. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going
down. Direct from our newsroom in Washington, in color, this is the CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite.
Good evening. Dr. Martin Luther King, the apostle of nonviolence in the civil rights movement, has been shot to death in Memphis, Tennessee. Police have issued an all-points bulletin for a well-dressed young white man seen running from the scene.
Though his death was untimely, Martin Luther King accomplished much in his lifetime, including the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. While race relations improved in the coming decades, recent events have sparked new debate.
Tonight, heartbreak and shock in Charleston, the stunning massacre in one of this city's most sacred places. Why did a young man walk into a historic black church, sit with praying parishioners, then shoot them in cold blood? 9 lives lost in an instant.
The actions of Dylann Roof sparked a months-long national debate over whether or not the Confederate flag should be flown over government property. On July 10, 2015, after many taxing hours of tedious debates by South Carolina lawmakers, because it is government property rather than private property, the Confederate flag was removed from the grounds of the Capitol building. This removal was met with resounding applause and appreciation across the country. There was a fair amount of opposition to this action, however, as evident by the numerous men that came to the flag removal yielding flags of their own, including a man dressed in a Confederate uniform who saluted the flag in the darkness of the early morning. After its removal, the flag was relocated to a military museum about a mile away from the state capitol building, where it remains today.
Okay, the Confederate flag to me is a battle flag. It was the battle flag that the Confederate Army flew during the Civil War, and that's more or less it. It's just a banner that symbolized the Confederacy and their attempt to gain freedom for the southern states during the Civil War. Well, if you go down to the South, to the southern states, there is an historical precedence for them doing that. It's part of their tradition and part of their heritage. I have no trouble at all with individual states saying that they'll fly the Confederate flag if they choose to in their state. There is such a thing as state sovereignty when it comes to these things, whether it's not the Confederate flag or a POW flag or any other flag. They have or should have the opportunity to do that and the authority to do that also. Again, this goes back to the freedom, the First Amendment, freedom of expression. If a person has the right to burn an American flag, I surely don't see how a person will not have the right to fly the Confederate flag.
All right, so, you know, in my view, the Civil War was a war fought over slavery and racism. You'll often hear arguments that it was about states' rights, but it was about states' rights to be able to have slavery or not. And therefore, I think their flag, you know, is a symbol of that cause. It's a symbol of the cause of racism and a symbol of the cause of slavery. African Americans often perceive it that way. They see it as a racist symbol. And I don't think that it's, my own sense is, it's not appropriate for governments or public entities really of any kind to be flying it. Private individuals can do what they want. But so, as difficult as it is because of its roots in Southern history for some states to remove it, I think the lesson from South Carolina is that it can be done. It can be done actually without ripping the state to pieces. It can be done with the guidance of smart political leaders and deft political leaders on both sides of the issue, in that other states not only should but will take up the issue of removing the flag and likely do so.
The debate regarding the Confederate flag has raged for over half a century now. While America is still divided on the issue, recent events such as the shooting in South Carolina and subsequent removal of the flag from state grounds suggests that public opinion is beginning to sway in favor of disallowing the flying of the flag over public property. No matter where you stand on this issue, it seems that the Confederate flag will remain a fixture of American political discourse for years to come.